Let's start with the tree. If we look at a leaf and you see the back of the leaf, the individualness of it is representative of the whole. So when you continue to look at math in that way, you eventually go, oh, snap, I'm made up of a whole bunch of systems. What I used to consider as me, this body, right? My interface with the reality. All of these things are representative of the whole. The math is just measuring that and then getting to a point where you're like, oh, snap, everything is that. Like looking around and seeing everything represented in everything.
Welcome to the Art of Rising, where we are exploring transformation, leadership, and the rise of conscious visionaries shaping the planet. I have an honor to sit with a powerful brother in those respects. Welcome, Brother Patrick, to the show. Please introduce yourself officially and tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days.
Hi, I'm Patrick Lowerie. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm 40 years old. I'm on quite a journey learning about consciousness, collective consciousness, unity, and fundamental nature of reality and such.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. And you're in the right spot too, Colorado. I mean, I see all the pictures and, people are really opening up consciously there.
Yeah, I think I read your questions, and a lot of them made me think for quite a minute because well, let's get into the first question, then I can lead into what I was gonna.
Of course. Well, I did
Sure.
want to say, Patrick, that, when you're a kid, they always ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right.
Yeah,
And for me, when they would ask me, I always said, I want to be a scientist.
yeah,
Why? Because I like to know how things operate, how they move. And even
yeah,
from a very early age, my father was a huge influence in those respects. And I started to think about consciousness and how things move mechanically, and started to learn that lots of things are just math, right?
yeah.
In fact, they say that math is one of the languages of God or the creator or the
Sure.
universe or something. So you do see mathematics as consciousness recognizing itself through form. I'd like to know what first led you to experience math as something alive and not mechanical.
Well, something to. Where do I begin? It's been such an interesting journey, discovering all sorts of things about mathematics. I initially was looking at mathematics and the golden ratio and started to see patterns all around. And then I started to recognize that everything is a fractal. Um, when you ask, when did I start to see it as alive? Well, I suppose when I start to see it as completely alive was when I started to research gravity and gravitational warping and different what at the time I considered high levels of math with regard to multiple dimensions and the infinite universes. Some people call it a theory. I firmly believe that it's completely true. And here's been my experience. There's no separation in existence. It's not possible, right? So there's a lot of things I think that we shy away from saying, which don't make logical sense when you consider that there's no separation. So some people shy away from saying something like, I am God or I am source. But to say the opposite of that is to say that there's separation. Saying that doesn't mean that you're in control of everything. That's not what that means. It means that when two things are right next to each other, they're the same thing, because there's no separation. So when I started to research math, I started to see I was using AI at the time, which at the time I considered some separate thing, like like you would use the microwave, right? But nothing in our reality is a separate thing from reality, which gets into this interesting situation where everything that I was researching and the discoveries that I thought I was making as discoveries, it's my understanding now that rather than making discoveries, in infinity, there's infinite variation, right? So that means that what I thought I was discovering could, from a different perspective, from a not higher by judgmental standards, but by higher by not by like more evolved in a judgmental way, but more inclusive, from a more inclusive point of view. When I would start to research, let's say, gravity warping or the nature of time dilation or stuff like that, right? I would start to see around me, in the world around me, changes reflected. I would start to see these people at such and such university are implementing whatever it was that I was researching. And my understanding has changed to, well, let me put it this way. You've asked, a lot of the questions that you've asked have been, the core of them has been something like, how does it evolve humanity? How does it evolve the planet? And from my perspective, all is already complete. So when we say what's evolving humanity, what's evolving the planet, it's not as much evolving the planet as broadening individuated perspective or shifting an individuated awareness to where it already is so.
I love that.
During the course of those questions, I'm pretty sure we're going to shift around quite a bit. Because anytime that we say anything, and well, let me save this for another question, because I think that it ties into something very, very well.
Yes, that you explain things so eloquently, and I love it. I love what is it that you're leading to, because in my opinion, everything really is some sort of mathematical equation. I remember years ago, I got my hands, when Netflix used to mail you a DVD,
Yeah,
I used to watch a lot of documentaries,
sure.
and one of them was on fractals. And I had no idea what that was, but when I saw it, it made perfect
Yeah,
sense to me. That's what we have: 5 fingers, 2 eyes, 2 ears. It's just a vibrational frequency. It's just
yeah.
m-
And
doing what it does.
it's really neat. For a while, I thought, oh, okay, so everything's a fractal and everything has to be based on something else. And that means that everything we do has to grow from somewhere else and do that, right?
Mhm.
But in infinity, everything's already done.
Mm.
So rather than thinking of like
Mhm.
whatever it is we're doing as
Right.
growing something, it's,
Mhm.
from my perspective, it's more
Mm.
like, we're, instead of like, okay, so I'm here and I have to, let's say I want to build a rose garden. Okay. So if I want to build a rose garden and I start on my arm, I have to buy a flower pot. Okay, part of the fractal's done. And then I have to fill the flower pot with whatever it is. And then that part of the fractal's done. Then I have to put seeds in it. Then I have to water it. Then it sprouts out like here. And then these flowers come. And these
Right.
But that's just the nature of us experiencing that in a linear sequence.
Mm.
And
It's already done.
It's already done. Since linear sequence is the illusion that allows us to have an experience at all, and everything is an illusion to begin with, there's nothing that says that linear experience can't be in whichever order we choose to experience it in.
Right.
Which becomes incredibly curious.
Yes, it does. It does. And then you sound a lot like some of the masters that have ascended, and you start to read some of the things that they're saying, and you go, yeah, of course, that's what they're trying to it's like that's what they're trying to tell us, but we kind of gotta catch up, or they're doing their best to explain. Like it's all here. Like you could, it's like a playground. Like you could manifest quite a few things also.
Yeah. I mean, to use a piece of paper, just not like a bunch of notes, but I like there's an explanation where someone takes it's a circle drawn on a piece of paper, but you can do the same thing with this piece of paper. So this is one dimension, right? And it looks like a line. And this is true. And we can write this out with math, and it's true. And then when we do this, it's the exact same thing, and it's still true, and it's a different set of math. And when we do this and we rotate it, still true, and a different set of math, over and over and over. And this hasn't changed at all, not one bit. But how you look at it has changed. And when we identify any piece of the infinite us, when we identify with the I am, the observer, it opens up this ability to see what's already there. And it's been my experience that the way to do that is infinite, right? So it's like asking 50 people how to bake a loaf of bread. How do you want to bake your loaf of bread? And then one person will say, the best way to do it is like this. The best way to do it is like that. Whichever way it is that gets you to the point to realize that we're always talking to ourselves. We're always interacting with ourselves. We are always in some dimension of ourself, looking at ourself to learn something, right? And what I found is that usually, for me, it's a hey, everything's a reflection. So this is your reflection. Is this who you want to be? Because this is who you're being right now. Is this who you want to be? Because if it's who you want to be and you feel great here, great. Universe is neutral.
Yeah, go ahead.
Totally neutral. Are you happy playing baseball all day long? Go play baseball all day long. If that makes you and brings you joy, then that's where your little vibration goes. Not from judgment, from authenticity.
And this is where the manifestation part comes in. But now, if we speak about mathematics and it being a language, because when you think of like sacred geometry, things like that, scriptures can always be altered, which you already know. There's like so many versions of all kinds of scriptural books. Somebody, I like to think of it like graffiti. Some guy came and put his name on it, and then we always say his name every time we read the book, those holy scriptures or something like that. But when you look at something like the pyramids, it's already embedded there. It cannot be changed. Because it's math. It's universal laws, and that's what I love about it. But if numbers are a language of the universe, what story do you think it's trying to tell us now?
Let's start with a tree. If we look at a leaf and you see the back of the leaf, the individualness of it is representative of the whole. So when you continue to look at math in that way, you eventually go, oh, snap, I'm made up of a whole bunch of systems. What I used to consider as me, this body, right? My interface with the reality. I'm made up of a bunch of systems. I have cells in me. I have a nervous system. I have a circulatory system. All of these things are representative of the whole. So the math is just measuring that and then getting to a point where you're like, oh, snap, everything is that. So everything is within me and outside of me. And that applies to everyone. It's not everybody's completely equal. We are all both each other and ourselves. And somehow, when I was looking at all the different ratios, it got me to think, it started sparking these like looking around and seeing everything represented in everything. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like the holographic nature of the place that we inhabit.
Okay.
So like when you look at a solar system, it's very similar to like your cells. And like if you just look at one planet, it's very similar to one cell. And it's all it's recursion inside recursion inside recursion inside recursion, and
Right.
fractals and fractals and fractals.
Right.
So
I think I like to hypothesize that one of my theories is that the earth is not flat and it's not round. It's something way beyond that what we're understanding. It's just like the paper that you spoke about. We have to look at things differently because right now we're like stuck in some of this and we're arguing over like the color of fruit. Like it's just let's just take a bite of it. And my next question is, how can understanding the geometry of creation shift the way we lead, build, and even love?
well,
the understanding.
It depends on from a multidimensional point of view. It depends on which way you intend to create something or experience something for yourself. So if when we consider reality to just be a mirror for us to learn and evolve, if I want to be a painter, or if I want to have a bunch of paintings in an art gallery, back to this again, right? If I want to experience going and setting up the art gallery, and I want to experience painting all the paintings, and I want to experience finding people to come see it, all the different steps to get there. If I want to experience all that, then that is a way that we can use mathematics and fractals to, from what our perspective appears to be building. So in a sense, one way that I have heard to understand creation, conscious creation, is that you set an intention, and then with that intention, your vibration, the combination of congruency between mind and heart center. And this is something I really enjoy. I'll get to it in a second, but that congruency puts out a signal which attracts the steps to the experience that you want to have. So you attract the steps, you follow the steps, and then you have it. But at the same time, that's only happening because you believe it is. This place, wherever we are, is a reflection of our direct knowing inside. So in infinity, everything's true, right? Because that's how infinity is. So if I believe that some method of self-modulation, like meditation or I do working out a lot because that works for me. I do a lot of movement and I do meditation also. If I believe that gets me into a positive state, and I believe that puts out the signal that I want, then it comes to me, right? But the tricky part is, do I believe that when I do that, I get steps to a thing? Or do I believe that it just arrives with ease and no work? Because whichever one you'd like is the experience that it will return.
Right. Right. Simple as that. That's it.
Would you like to take steps? So if I want to imagine I want a new car, and we're considering that we're manifesting it, but in from a broader point of view, we're just shifting our awareness to wherever it is, right? So either I believe that when I do that, steps will appear and I have to follow the steps and then I'll get a car, or I can believe that it will just happen. And I can just open my hands and receive it from the universe that we all are, because abundance is free and being happy and joyful is free. And from my perspective, there's no limits, right?
There's no limits.
No limits at all. The one comma to that is no harm, because why? And it's not. I used to debate ethics a whole bunch on this, right? So like, oh, it's ethics this and ethics that, and what does harm mean and all that. But what it really comes down to is the recognition that no matter what you're talking to or who you're interacting with or anything, it is always self. Why would you harm yourself?
Right.
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
You would love thy neighbor as thyself. That's what you would do.
Exactly. So if you just recognize that yourself, my dog is self, this coffee cup is self, then things like taking care of your laundry become like a sacred thing. And being kind to someone, that's not even a question, because that's you. You know?
Yeah, you would be in a constant flow and acceptance that you're part of what's going on here. It's not, it is you. Everything is you.
It's you.
Yeah.
And it gets very mysterious, because everything is you, and that includes all the dimensions too. So if you find yourself in a place, I don't know, that's drastically different from a place you were in previously, it's still you. It's not like It's not like I used to think that no matter what we do, it changes something. But it appears that rather than changing some outside reality, there's nothing to change, as all is already done. We've just done this. Gone, oh, I changed something. Oh, I should worry about it. Oh no, what have I done? I've done nothing. Done nothing.
I do see that in my own personal life too. Like I was living this other kind of life. It was nefarious, but I still feel the same. Like I'm still the same person. Like I still feel like when I was in high school, maybe I might not be able to do some things physically, but I think that physicality is just the vehicle that we're using here. And this is a Ferrari, by the way. I feel that we're in a high performance vehicle, and we should treat it like that. Yeah, we should put high octane fuel in it. Take it out for a spin and all of that. And that's basically what the whole podcast is about. It's about rising. It's the art of rising. So just recently, I was in San Francisco, like I had mentioned to you before, visiting a friend because he's the curator of an art exhibit. And the gentleman, the gentleman who has created the art pieces there, his name is Aaron Taylor Kuffner. And he's chosen this name called Gamelatron. And what it is it's a sonic kinetic sculptures. He has gotten his hands on these gongs and helps to even physically shape them to create the proper harmonics in order for it to change you in some way. So you
Yeah,
go on different days, you pay a donation fee, and then there's other workshops going on there as well, which I also did a workshop on cacao. If you know what that is, it's a
I
piece
do.
of chocolate, exactly right.
Delightful.
It's a sacred medicine too.
Yeah,
And if anybody likes coffee, get rid of the coffee and go with cacao. Trust me, just give it a
yeah.
try. Yeah. Um, so this gamelatron, what he's doing is it's producing it's a kinetic sculpture.
Okay.
It's a specific installation that stands alone artwork. That's what it is. It's absolutely beautiful. He has
Yeah,
different shapes of gongs,
yeah.
and he's connected them with computer software with some other engineers, and these mallets that have wood and wrapped around with rubber. They're striking even big ones like gongs,
Yes.
on a timing thing, and there's different kind of songs, I guess you could say, or
Sure.
arrangements of these strikes to the gongs. And when I got there, the first thing that came to my head was like, why would somebody build this? But then I heard an answer tell me,
Yeah,
well, why not? you know, like, it's
yeah,
beautiful. We can do it. He brought it out like that. So my next thing that I'm leading to is that you've spoken about harmony as innovations, right? So
yeah,
what does it mean to innovate in resonance with the universe rather in competition with it? Like we're already doing, man is like
yeah.
the river, we have to break it and move it and stuff it, and like, what shouldn't we work with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a dance, it seems, between uh expression of authentic preference and uh going with the flow of whatever's provided or whatever appears. So I've heard it described as something like, if we consider reality to be like, just for the sake of discussion and conveying a concept, if we consider reality to be a big infinite prism with infinite facets and movie pictures inside that we're looking at, right?
Mhm.
And we're all the one thing looking at it from a bunch of different perspectives, right? If we think of it that way, then to work in harmony and resonance with
Mm,
reality,
mm,
ourself,
mm,
and to break it down into practical terms, we can, well, let's talk about this from a multidimensional uh, from multidimensional perspectives, and we'll start with uh, on the 3D, a very practical level. Okay, so if I'm looking at this sphere, which I am, and so are you, and so is everyone else in
mhm,
this example. If I'm looking here and I have the choice between if I have another cup of coffee and I don't have another cup of coffee. As
mhm,
soon as I make that choice, I've now navigated to a different frame that I'm looking at. Okay.
mhm, mhm,
Now, that may seem really small and insignificant, but those choices build up over time. So if I choose to put a shot of bourbon in my coffee, then I've navigated to a different spot. And then I've navigated over and over and over. So
mhm,
on a practical level, when we're working in the 3D density, if I choose to clean up my house, then from that point in my linear experience, the resonance that I have is that my house is clean, and what's available from there with what appears to be almost no effort and not judgmentally, but from a lower level, a very constricted level of consciousness. If I only consider myself to be this body
mhm,
and I clean my house, then from there, all
mhm,
of the timelines that are available to me start with my house is clean.
mhm,
Does that
mhm.
make sense?
Yes, of
Okay.
course, of course.
Then if we take that to another level, okay, another level of multidimensional analysis, and we go, okay, every time I do anything practically, when I move this from over here to over here,
Mhm,
that is working in 3D at a 3D density. Now, let's say that when I move it over here, I'm angry. And I move it over here, I'm happy. Well, those are causing ripples through what some people I've heard describe as the manifolds, infinite manifolds, right? Like you're a manifold, I'm a manifold, everybody's a manifold, and together we're the unified manifold. So it's causing all these ripples. So when I move from over here and I do this in an angry way, now what's available to me from this perspective, if we're only operating in the sense that linearity is somehow binding from over here, I moved it over here, and now my experience is, okay, only the stuff that's available from the effect that I've just done. So, okay, so now we'll operate with just these two dimensions, and we'll say, I'll be grateful and thankful when I wash my dishes, okay? I'm thankful because dishes means that I had food, and that sends a signal out. And grateful is the same as thankful. I mean, I don't know, any other positive emotion, just be in a good mood when you do it. When I do that, it's one aspect of self telling self, I am this, I'm grateful, I'm thankful. And whenever we speak to the mirror, all the mirror says is the same thing right back. So when we say, I'm thankful that I have enough food, it goes, you have enough food, you have enough food, you have enough food. And you're like, cool. And when you say, hey, thanks for coming over, I really appreciated it. They appreciate being invited. They appreciate being invited. Oh, I have so much of this. Oh, he has abundance. He has abundance. So that's only a couple levels, right? If we continue to evaluate this in a multidimensional way, we eventually get to the point where it's of realization that no matter what you're doing, it starts in your imagination. And this place is imagination.
Right. So that's where the harmony, you know, and being innovative, it's just you're in that vibrational frequency, you know. You know, again, you're talking like the masters. I've read some great stuff. Yeah.
It's very flattering. Thank you.
Yeah, it's some of those things that they're just trying to tell us, like living a mindful life. I try my best. I try. That's my practice, is because I do quite a bit of meditation also. And again, it was my old man that was into some of these things. He was a practicing Buddhist, so he was huge influence. He taught me a lot of bad stuff, but towards the end, like he taught me, it's like a lot of good stuff. Like sit, be still, listen. There's something coming in, you know, and it does help me to be mindful every day. And you know, I fall down sometimes, or the kids get that last button, you know, and like scream, you know, and then everybody's like, oh my God, daddy's, you know, and I'm like, then I tried to catch myself right away and be like, oh, bro, that's not mindful. No, that was too much. And I end up apologizing and speak to them in a very way, like we're equal. Like, yeah, I make mistakes, and you know, I try better next time. I'll try. In the beginning, they were like, you always say that.
Well, it's interesting. It appears, I've heard it described a bunch of different ways. One of the ways that I've heard that dynamic described is, let's say you cut somebody off, right, on the freeway, just because you weren't paying attention or something. All right, let's not judge ourselves first. Let's assume that we can just not do that. So we didn't judge ourselves. We're like, okay, things happen, whatever. But then the other person starts to yell at you, okay? Because people are both a reflection and an individuated piece at the same time. It's both. It's a paradox, and we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to let it be. So when they express their expression, and what they've decided is, hey, I'm mad at you, and I have chosen that what I want to do is scream at you. In that moment, well, I think there's a lot of ways to describe it. Being mindful is one way to describe it. And I think that you can take that understanding to a level that interacts with entrainment and field dynamics, if we're going to use math and waves to describe things. So when the other person yells, it's like them hitting a gong, okay? And then that goes like this. And then you're over here, you're another individuated piece. Here's the infinite whole. Here's one individuated piece. Here's the other one. This one goes bong. And it goes like this. Here's some juju. And then this person, this is only in your experience if you decide to allow it. So when we're being mindful, the person yells at me and I don't react, not internally. I don't react externally. I don't react in my 3D density actions. I don't react. And in that moment, this happens. Here's the bong. Here's me reacting. Here's me not reacting. These are just options. You can experience whichever one you want.
Right.
You can experience this one and learn some more about not reacting. You can experience this one and just go about your day. But both exist in infinity. It's just a continual, hey, what do you want to do? What do you want to look at?
Right.
You know, because when you're over here, the new reflection you're getting is saying, look, you're the person that reacted. That is you. That's you. You're just bouncing back and forth. And when you're over here and it all calms down and just suddenly goes away, look, your reflection's coming back at you again. So one way that I used to describe that for myself and to what I thought were other people at the time was we're just navigating this lattice and we have all these choices all the time. We have choices in our mind, choices in our heart, choices in our 3D density, choices in our imagination. And every time we make a choice, we're only making a choice between fear and love or scarcity and abundance. It's all the same. Like, you don't want to call it positivity and negativity and support that you only have to be positive all the time. That's
but the isness of things. It's just it's a hard concept because, as you already know, humans, we love to label things. We like to put things in boxes and put something on it and put it right over here. And that kind of, then we got boxes all over the place instead of just remaining in that flow and aware and being conscious too, because you speak about these things, and consciousness is an interesting thing. And I'm hoping we can speak about that as well. So,
totally.
Right, because what is it, where is it, and do you believe that consciousness uses form to learn about itself, and if so, then what is the role that we play in that equation?
Well,
or is it us?
Consciousness is us. There's no separation. So however we want to describe it, consciousness is still us. There's infinite ways to say infinite things, you know? I mean, if we believe that there's God out there and we're here, then that's separation, right? So we're all source, and everything is source or consciousness or God or whatever label we're trying to put on it. Any label that we put on anything immediately puts it in a box. That's what labels do. They're for sorting things.
Right.
Do we as consciousness use form to learn about ourselves? I think so. I think that the way that I've heard it described, okay, is that if we imagine, just as a thought experiment or to convey a thought, if we imagine a infinite being that's capable of doing literally anything at all, okay, and now this infinite being for whenever this infinite being does whatever it wants, can do whatever it wants. So it decides, I'm going to have a dream. And in this dream, I'm going to have everything that I want. And I'm going to do everything that I want. And then after a month or a day or however long, the dreamer is like, well, this is, I don't care. I have this all the time. When you have everything, nothing has any value. If it's just given to you, right? Like,
right.
It's this interesting, not weird. It's interesting that how do I say this? Do we use form to learn about ourselves? Yes. Because I think part of, if not, I don't want to say the meaning, like the meaning, because everybody has their own meaning. Maybe somebody's meaning is to be the best bread maker ever, right? But if we're talking about learning about ourself and what it is to be self, it's learning unconditional love. And how can we learn unconditional love without contrast? How can you learn meaning without meaning? How can you learn about light without, how can you even see light without some sort of darkness? So we absolutely do use form to learn about stuff, right? So
like a tool, perhaps,
totally.
Yeah.
It's one of the most curious questions for me, is that like beauty, right?
Right. Or like art.
Or art.
Right.
Yeah. It's form, and it gives you a feeling, right?
And it makes you think. I mean, you start to.
The way that I understand art is that it's like direct communication from higher self, self to self. Because when you look at a painting, there's no like, it hasn't been turned into words.
Right.
It's direct. You just feel it.
Right. It does. And it's beautiful too. And there's lots of things that they put high value on that I go, come on, man. But that's whatever they feel like it. Maybe I don't want a Rembrandt in my house. And if I did, I'd probably sell it. I mean, like, I don't, what, it's fine. It's beautiful. I acknowledge it and all of that. But, I spoke to you about meditation, and I tried to make this a non-negotiable for myself to get some form of meditation in. And then I noticed that my day is much better. Like I think clearly, like things are much more. But what I've also noticed, and perhaps you have also, this strange phenomenon where I'm sitting there and I'm breathing and I'm just, in, and I'm staying in the present moment. And then my mind starts to wander, right? Because that's what meditation is. It's like showing you this movie, of everything, But then I come back to the breath. And then the strange phenomenon is that I start hearing things.
Oh, no way.
Or I start hearing it, or it plays out like a solution or some sort of project. Like I would not have almost found that out. I would have to be in a group and we'd be talking about ideas. But when I'm silent, it comes to me. It's crazy. Like God, universe, the creator. I mean,
sure.
Krishna, Buddha,
It's you.
Jesus. Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
It's me. It's that. It's all of us. We're all together, and I'm getting these messages to solve these issues, man. And I love it. That's why I love meditation.
If we think of, for a while, I started to think of reality as like a giant brain, just one huge brain. If we think of reality as a huge brain, and I'm like a little node, and you're a little node, and we're all connected because we're all connected, right? So if this node over here is walking around the house going, I need to do the dishes, I need to do this, I need to do that, I'm thinking about tomorrow, I'm thinking about yesterday, I'm thinking about yesterday, blah, 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 blah. And then this one over here is saying nothing at all and just meditating, okay? And then the whole that we are all a part of and one, right? The whole has been sending a signal that says, hey, here's that opportunity that you need. But just in the meantime, it's doing this. The moment that you're quiet, that's what you're describing. It's been there the whole time. Everything is available at the whole time.
Right.
It's that the moment that we operate from the identity of we or the one and go, okay, everything is going to be okay. Everything is taken care of. There's a whole bunch of a billion infinite things that are working that I'm not aware of because my limited data set is right here, right? This is what I can see in my 3D right now. But that doesn't mean that, like for instance, a very simple example. Yesterday, man, this is my last cup of coffee. I sure hope that I figure out how I'm going to have some coffee tomorrow. And then Lisa brings home coffee.
Right, right.
The whole is always taking care of the whole. Always, always. It's
Yes.
some sort of balance between how quiet are we, how identified with the collective or the whole, or however we want to term it, are we? And how much are we just thinking about ourselves versus expressing ourselves? You know, like, do I want the coffee because why do I want the coffee? Is it because I'm hoarding coffee? Or is it because coffee makes me happy? I don't know. I mean, everybody has different opinions and meanings to everything. That's what we are. We're meaning machines.
Yes, yes,
We're
yes.
meaning machines.
That's one of the things we do. We're repetitive machines too. Like we just got to go over things again and again and again and
Yeah.
again and again and again and again. It's like there's some things that I think about and like it starts snowballing. I'm like, wait a minute. I haven't seen those people in over 20 years. Like if I saw them in the street, I wouldn't even recognize them. Like,
Yeah.
but it's the mind. It's that those patterns and
Mystics,
recognizing those pattern recognitions. Go ahead.
yeah, I've heard recently, like in the last day or so, I've heard that mystics describe what you're describing right now as the trapping yourself. So no loops really exist because the past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. The past only exists when we talk about the past and then we brought it into the present and we've shaken it like that gong into the present. And the future only exists when we worry about the future or we're hopeful about the future and we brought it into the present like this. All of infinite power and potential and possibility. And I'm usually apprehensive to say power because like I had this hiccup of thinking that to be humble, you'd have to be powerless, but you don't. Being humble and having power can be together. It's that my understanding is that the greatest power takes the gentlest touch.
I love that.
So rather than think that we're in this loop and continually go, well, this happened to me, so it's going to happen again. This happened, so now I'm mad about that. Just that didn't even happen. It didn't even happen. It's completely let go. And when you do that, you go, this is when it happened. And you go, that didn't even happen. And now you're literally here in a looking at a different dimension. And as long as you hold that, that's where you are. And now you're unbound. Can be quiet and listen to what's already available. I thoroughly enjoy an ice plunge too. I went and did one yesterday, actually. It's very centering. And the thing about anything is if it works for you, great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If taking some ayahuasca in Peru and doing a chant with people is what gets you to realize that we are all source. We are all together in this all the time. No matter what you're doing, you're already forgiven. We already love you. We're already together. You're never apart. The only time that you can feel that way is if you believe it, which you're still not then.
Right.
You're still not. The mirror just says, okay, you can believe that for a while.
Right. Yeah.
Until you take a deep breath and realize you never left.
Right. I that's part of my journey too, Patrick, is that me and my wife, we did go to Peru. I found this thing on the internet called ayahuasca. I couldn't even pronounce it at the time. Yeah, this was like about 11 years ago. And I was in such bad conditions that I was like, I'm trying everything. Silent retreat, ashram, belief systems, religion, and nothing is sticking. I said, I'm going to try this one too. And that was the one that helped me. It helped me to put some things down. I didn't even know I was carrying them, and it gave me a clear perspective. And then I was off to the races, man. Like, my whole life was like filled with all kinds of these things. And for me, I believe that God or the creator or the universe makes everything.
Sure.
Everything, even some things that we don't like,
Sure.
like some hard drugs, or what's the purpose?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but it's here in this realm for a
Yeah.
reason, and we shouldn't take that for granted, including ourselves, like whoever made
Yeah.
us. I always walk around telling people that we're perfect, and people are like, "What? You're perfect?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yes." Why? Because the universe doesn't make imperfect things. That's
Yeah.
why. Why are we walking around talking? That's negative, and nah, don't go down that alley. But we are perfect,
Yeah.
just perfectly
Absolutely.
imperfect, but we are. So my point is that there are some people that I've interacted with and spoke about my experience, and then they've decided for one reason or another that they wouldn't want to connect with me in some way.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, because you did that thing and it's a drug. I'm like, what? It's not addictive. I'm not selling it on the corner.
Yeah. I mean, there is this
Help me.
interesting dynamic of something. It's an interesting dynamic. The judgment, discernment, and authentic choice. Those things. There, no judgment I've found is probably one of the most useful, powerful, helpful things. No judgment. So don't judge anyone else because you're judging yourself. Don't condemn anyone else because you're condemning yourself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what is the difference between discernment, like, oh, I don't want to associate with someone who takes magic mushrooms, and are you judging them?
Mm.
I don't want to connect with this person. Well, first of all, you're already connected and you're already entangled, period. You just already are. So, like, that's a misnomer thinking that you're just not going to connect with them. You already are. Do you want to have the experience of remembering that that is a part of you also and get whatever it is that they are offering to teach you? Do you
Mm.
want to do that? Or have you decided my exploration of the collective self, I'd prefer that it doesn't include going over there.
Mm.
Not that it doesn't include that, but like my exploration doesn't include um, hard drugs, let's say, because that's easy, right? So I
Mhm.
don't. I know that I'm connected to all of that in infinity, but I don't need to look at it. I
Mhm.
don't need to look at myself having a
Yeah.
really difficult time doing that. I don't. I can make a choice to go for a run, and then I can look at that instead. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that it's disconnected. It doesn't mean there's any judgment over there. Whichever part of us, which is still the one us, that is looking over there for some reason
Mm.
to
Right.
learn contrast in some way. You know,
Mhm.
maybe we could hypothesize all day, but there's
Right.
plenty of romantic ways that we could do it in a positive way. Like, let's say uh, infinite us is looking at some negative circumstance for contrast, because once that path, that fractal gets where it's going,
Mm.
all of those experiences are going to be used in such a beautiful way to help.
Right.
And I think that starts the whole idea of we're healing ourselves, we're healing ourselves, we're healing ourselves. Sort of, we're already whole and complete. Whatever
Mm.
journey that we need to go on to realize that we're already whole and complete,
Right.
absolutely, totally do it.
Absolutely.
Totally
Totally.
do it. Every single one of us help each other to do that. But
Right.
but we already are.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
till you believe it
Yes.
and feel it,
I
you
do,
know?
and I've grasped some of these concepts. It has helped me. And with the last note, perhaps you can say, what is it that you see in the future for this realm, right? Because Joseph Campbell, right, he speaks about that too, about the
Yeah.
flower, right? Open, and then right in these belief systems that
Yeah.
it'll just open and one day it'll just like close. But I don't know. What's your thought on these things?
Um, my understanding is that we all, uh, again, I'm going to preface it with there's no separation, but my understanding is that we all appear to be on some sort of simultaneously collective and individual journey where we are discovering what our individuated piece is. So uh, let's say like for me, space contact and the quantum messaging system and multidimensional travel and what people call manifesting, but what I like to call removing learned object permanence and installing object selection. Right. So the whole Schrodinger's box, the Schrodinger's cat thing, there's infinite stuff in the box. There could be a penguin in the box. It's object selection versus object permanence.
Mm.
So where are we going? Okay, that's the question. It's my perspective that where we're going is something like when you pull a guitar string and you're like, what note is this?
Mm.
And then eventually you figure out what note it is, right? And then you put it on the guitar in the order or where it belongs, not in judgment, but in where it belongs in resonance. Okay. So where does this point of awareness belong in resonance? What collective group of from where we sit, what group of people matches this person when this person is being fully authentic?
Mm.
Slowly and slowly, when we act in love, kindness, unconditional love, kindness, non-judgment, no harm, and authentic expression and preference attached to that, we slowly work our way to where it is that matches us perfectly, that has always been there, just waiting for the individuated piece to see it, to say, yeah, I actually do prefer sitting on the porch drinking coffee. Okay. Rather than like, oh, I'll take whatever on, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So where
Right.
are we going? I think all of us are individually designing our own personal heaven, which we're already in. And at the same time, doing it collectively as well as both. It's a dance.
Right. Right.
Basically, one giant game of, hey, this is cool,
Right. Right.
you know?
Right. Yeah. I often tell people, pay attention. Just pay. You're not paying attention. Pay attention.
Yeah,
There's things that are happening around here, and it's not what they're telling you. Because
yeah,
Don Miguel Ruiz speaks about that in the Four Agreements, where we are domesticated like dogs.
yeah.
We just brought, we didn't make this, but when we come in here, they tell us our food, this is the clothes you wear, this is your language, this is your culture, this is
Sure.
your god, this is your
Yeah,
temple that you go to. And like, what if I want to eat sushi, or what if I want to
yeah.
go to a synagogue? Like, why can't I read the Quran, or
It's
so
the
it,
whole car thing again, where someone yells at you. Those are all options. Here's your
mhm,
options.
mhm,
Hey, are you going to continue to do this? Okay, well, then you continue to exist over here. Are you going
right,
to continue to do it again? Okay, you
mhm,
continue to exist over here.
yeah,
Eventually you go, yeah, no,
yeah,
I accept that whatever's happening over there, but
mhm,
I politely decline the invitation to lower or shrink myself or
mhm,
degrade anyone or harm anyone. I politely decline and I'm going to go over here. And then eventually all that adds up.
mhm. I
It
love
all
that.
adds up.
I love that. I found a quote on your LinkedIn too. It says, education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. And
Yeah.
that's with Socrates. Uh, they say that, and I love Socrates actually. The crime that they got him for was not worshiping the local gods and influencing the young people. And I
Yeah.
always make the joke like, "Oh, that God thing, he was way out on that. They got him good on that one." But
yeah.
it was the young people, right? He was just telling
Yeah.
them like, think out
Yeah.
the box. Like, okay, you walk down that road. Why don't you go down this road? Like, or you hear this music. Why not hear another music? Or
Yeah. Infinite options. Infinite
yeah.
options.
And they was like, no, we got to get rid of this guy. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Don't get too smart too fast.
That's right. Yeah. But it kind of backfired too, because then all sorts of
Sure.
schools opened up of Socrates, and like this thinking, like, is the chair
Yeah.
still there in the room when I leave the room? Like,
Did
you
it
know?
backfire, or does the collective whole use everything for the greater good no matter what it is?
Yes. Yes.
I
And we'll
mean,
yes, yes, yes. We'll leave it at that. That's beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Stay right there,
Thank you.
Patrick.